down and looked very nervous. This was a different Rory. He just seemed
Well, he's 35 years old. He's married. He has his own family. He's matured really quite well. He's worked hours and hours with the famous Bob Rotella, the sports psychologist that really can get people, mindset set the way you want it to be. So he's worked very hard on that. So it's his time.
we're going to hear from Dr. Bob a little bit later on, but he talked about how important it was for Rory to play a lot of golf on the European Tour in the offseason between the Tour Championship and the start of this year. You look at some of the other players, maybe they didn't play as much over that span. And now when you look at those starts that Rory had over the offseason and the way he started this year, he's won 4 of his last 6 tournaments. How important do you feel, did Angel Cabrera, did he play a lot over the offseason? How important is it to get a rhythm over on the European Tour if you can before the spring starts?
Angel did not play much over on the European Tour once he got his PGA Tour card in his Masters jacket. To each his own, and Bob knows Roy better than anybody as far as an athlete is concerned, and sometimes it's just kind of like in basketball. If you have a bad night shooting, you keep on shooting. You don't stop. You got to play. You got to play your way out of whatever is happening in your professional life. So I can understand that. Bob, his expertise goes far beyond just golf. I mean, he's worked with the best coaches in the NCAA, Duke, those coaches, and he's learned that athletes have to play. You can't get better by not playing.
You've spent a lot of time around Dr. Bob, Charlie.
Well, one of the thing what I did as a golf professional, I got involved with a lot of the golf teachers from Golf Digest, and so I was able to leave a great job at being the golf professional at Houston Country Club in Houston, Texas, and I went to work for Golf Digest. And one person that I really spent a lot of time with was Bob Rotella. And it's, you see Bob and you think better. He has a aura around him that's really neat.
When he first came on the scene and brought, the mental game to focus, how welcoming were players of that?
Well, he had his group of players from, he was the at University of Virginia, the director of sports psychology,
You
or
you have a doctorate from there,
I
don't you?
do, I do. He gave me a doctorate,
Dr. Epps.
Doctor Epps. So he had his circle on the eastern coast, but then he started, having success, and the guys, sport is mentally taxing for a lot of people, including me, including you.
Yeah.
So Bob started having success with Tom Kite, Texas,
Yeah.
and then the word started spreading around, and he started doing clinics and so on and so forth. But he started, becoming an author, and he wrote his, Golf's Not a Game of Perfect, and a lot of people, um,
Trust him.
trust him.
You look at the man who finished second last week, Charlie, Justin Rose, 44-year-old, who put up an incredible fight down the stretch at Augusta. Uh, you know, birdied the 18th hole to send it to a playoff with Rory McIlroy. And, you look at Justin Rose, and he lost in a playoff to Sergio Garcia in 2017. And you look at the only other player to lose in a playoff at 2 Masters, it's Ben Hogan. You have to go back to 1952 and 1954. Do you think Justin Rose's time will eventually come at Augusta?
I think it's going to go by him. He missed his opportunity.
Yeah.
We got to remember the gentleman that won the most major championships in the history of golf is a guy named Jack Nicklaus. but he also finished second 18 times in major championships. So um, Justin has only finished second twice,
Yeah.
but he played one heck of a round of golf on that Sunday. He made 10 birdies,
Yeah.
and he made a birdie on 16 that pin was diabolical, and both he and Rory put it back there on that shelf, and to make the battle even more impressive. So I don't know. I don't think so. I hope so. I like uh, Justin Rose. He's very a gentleman, and he's never been misspoken or anything like that. So yeah, he deserves a major.
It was a heck of a playoff, Charlie. Both of them put it in the fairway on that 18th hole. Justin Rose hit a great shot in there to about 12 feet, and Rory just stuck a wedge. Rory was 30 yards in front of Rose off the tee in
Yeah,
that playoff hole,
yeah,
and
yeah,
McIlroy stuck it in there and got the job done. It was great to see.
yeah. It's such an entertaining sport if you get that perfect storm, and that Sunday will go down in the history of Augusta or a major championships. An incredible feat. I mean, it brought the course brought the best out of the champions.
Absolutely, and that was a great final pairing with Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. It always helps to have DeChambeau in there. He obviously did not play his best golf on Sunday, but he will certainly be back as he's now been in contention at the Masters, a handful of times, and he'll look to defend his U.S. Open here in a few months at Oakmont. Charlie, a lot coming up as far as the world of professional golf in the state of Texas. You have the Chevron Championship at the Nicholas Course at Carlton Woods next week. Everyone in Houston and surrounding areas needs to head out to the Woodlands to go watch the first of 5 LPGA major championships on the schedule. This has been a great switch for that tournament, Charlie, going from the Dinah Shore in California here to the Chevron at Carlton Woods. It seems like the player feedback here over the last several years has just been through the roof.
And they redid
The Nicholas Course?
The Nicholas Course. They put some better grass out, and it's just a great place for the spectators to get out and watch these ladies play golf, and boy, can they play golf. And you know what's her face,
You'll have world number 1 Nelly Korda there.
Corda. She won the last one there, didn't she?
Yeah, she won her second major championship here last year at the
And
Chevron.
that was her sixth victory in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, these, it's so much fun to watch them play.
You'll have world number 3 Lydia Ko in town. Charlie Hole will be there. Rose Zhang. A ton of great professionals in the field next week at the Chevron. Tickets right now available at SeatGeek, where single-day passes are starting at $45 with week-long admission starting at $215. And you have 8 incredible amateurs there this year, Charlie, 4 of which played in the Spirit International at Whispering Pines this past year. Carla Bernada Scuder, she represented Spain at the Spirit. Carla plays at Kansas State and won the Spirit Women's Individual Medal and then won the Augusta National Women's Amateur last week. Charlie, the 5th Spaniard ever to win at Augusta.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know what they have in the water over there, but those Spaniards really like Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, Seve, Jose Maria Orthabal, Sergio Garcia, John Rahm. With more great champions on the way, there's a Spaniard named Eugenio Chacarra who is starting to play really good golf on the DP World Tour, won the Indian Open last week, and is in contention yet again this week at the Volvo China Open. But so much great talent coming out of Spain. You also have Astrid Talley in the field next week. She finished runner-up at the Augusta National Women's Amateur. You have a local from Texas A&M, Vanessa Borovilos.
Yeah, she's a good player.
Unbelievable, breaking all sorts of records.
Yeah.
At Texas A&M, Charlie.
She's breaking Mimi's records.
Is that right? Oh, man.
No,
Not Mimi's. You got to leave those alone. You got to
Right.
leave those alone. And then next week for our friends in the DFW Metroplex, the Corn Ferry Tour will be coming your way at the Veritex Bank Championship at Texas Rangers Golf Club in Arlington. Have to get out there and watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars in Arlington. You look at who was there last year, Charlie. I always like to look at this. Who was at this Corn Ferry Tour event in Arlington last year that's making a splash now? Matt McCarty, the lefty who finished seventh at the Masters last week. He played in the Veritex last year. Ryan Gerard, who's been a consistent contender on the PGA Tour. Carl Phillips, who won the Puerto Rico Open. He was at the Veritex last year. So a lot of entertainment there as all of those players
And
are.
the golf course it's
Yeah,
played on
sorry.
is
Texas Rangers Golf Club.
Texas Rangers Golf Club.
It's a small world, Charlie, because at 8:15 we're going to talk to Ben Burns, who is he's the director of golf at Crown Colony in Lufkin. But it's interesting, the two gentlemen, the two architects that restored Crown Colony, Trey Kemp and John Colligan, they're the ones that restored Texas Rangers Golf Club there in Arlington to get it ready for the Veritex Bank
Well,
Championship.
they had a lot to work with when they started because, that golf course, Crown Colony, when I first came to Houston, was the number one rated course in Texas, and it's a fun, great golf course to play. It's in the piney woods of East Texas, and Bruce Devlin and Von Hagee did a great job in making that golf course, and so they went back and they cleaned it up and put out new grasses. Is that what they did?
They sure did.
And and the greens got bigger. So it's going to be fun to see. I can't wait to play it one of these days. I played it quite a few times.
Yeah, we're going to go out there in the next couple of weeks, Charlie. Just
Yeah.
up 59 North off Champions Drive.
Yeah.
It's a great spot, especially if you're looking for a tee time over the Easter weekend. I highly recommend it. Was out there on Wednesday. We're going to get their director of golf on here at 8:15 here in just a few minutes. But, a lot to look forward to with the restoration as far as Crown Colony is concerned. As far as how that relates to the upcoming schedule, of course, the VB Championship is at Texas Rangers Golf Club. The same set of hands that restored Crown Colony also restored Texas Rangers. And then in 2 weeks, Charlie, the Insperity Invitational. The
That's
legends
right.
come
The
to town.
legends are coming to town, and the old men are coming to town. I can't wait. I think that's just one heck of a golf tournament, and I hope the Houstonians have a big advantage because everybody gets in free to watch these great guys, and they've been playing golf for many years. They've won, the Nicholas and Trevino and Gary Player, and they come out on Saturday afternoon and play an exhibition, and the girls come.
Annika,
Yeah,
Julie Inkster.
Julie is really fun.
Now, I can't wait. That is April 28th to May 4th there at the Woodlands Tournament Course. You have to get out there and watch these greats, not only the men, but also, as we just talked about, the women, Annika Sorenstam, Julie Inkster, Laura Davies. All the legends are there. It starts, Monday and Tuesday are the practice rounds. You've got the Woodforest National Bank Pro-Ams going on Wednesday and Thursday. And you have to get out and see the championship rounds Friday through Sunday. Scott Dunlop, the defending champion, he'll be back out there. And, in case you can't get to the golf course, in case you're not in the Houston or the Woodlands area, there's 3 days of tournament coverage on the Golf Channel, Friday, May 2nd to Sunday, May 4th. So tune in there. 78 PGA Tour champions, professionals playing 54 holes of stroke play in our backyard there at the Woodlands Country Club tournament course. It's going to be a great weekend here in 2 weeks there in the Woodlands. We got to catch a quick break. On the other side, Ben Burns from Crown Colony joins the show.
You're listening to the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
If you are wondering where to play golf this Easter weekend or sometime in the future, I have a great place for you. Wednesday, we traveled east to Lufkin to check out the newly renovated golf course at Crown Colony Country Club. It's semi-private, so it's open to the public, and it's 750 acres of just pure beauty. It's 6,600 yards, par 72, but the whole course is tree-lined, and it's a thinker's golf course, especially with the fairly small, very pure greens, which we'll talk about with Ben Burns here in a few minutes. It's really spectacular. It's not one of these wide-open golf courses where you're just looking at miles of terrain. Crown Colony is woven in the piney woods of East Texas, and it's really an amazing time. Bruce Devlin designed it in 1979, and it's been a great success ever since. As we heard from Charlie earlier in the show, this was one of the best golf courses in Texas, and Trey Kemp and John Colligan are the two that have come in here and finished up a restoration project at Crown Colony, and they did a great job. The turf conditions are A+. The greens were rolling perfectly. A lot of courses are struggling this time of the year, having to punch and aerate the greens, but not Crown Colony. The greens are absolutely perfect right now. If you're wondering where you should play your golf this Easter weekend, I absolutely recommend heading to Crown Colony there in Lufkin. And for more on that, we go to the guest line and welcome in Ben Burns, who is the director of golf at Crown Colony and has been for 18 years. Ben, thanks for taking some time on this busy Easter weekend. Really enjoyed the golf course on Tuesday. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming in and playing. You got a nice swing.
I appreciate that, Ben. And, before we get into the golf course, you've been at Crown Colony since 2007, and you're on with Charlie Epps here as well. And he's enjoyed the golf course for a very long time. What's been your journey at such a beautiful property there in Lufkin?
Wow. That goes way back. As most golf professionals will say, COVID really did us good. In fact, I would say it was very instrumental in helping us do a reconstruction of the golf course. I tell people and members all the time, I was praying for a revitalization of the golf industry, and along came COVID, and who would ever have thought that God would use that to make Crown Colony great again. And I've got a really good membership here. They love the place. I would say there are traditions of families over the years. So the journey's been awesome. I was very fortunate in being brought here. I was in the Dallas area for the rest of my career, which was now 42 years. So, it's been a great journey. It's awesome.
Charlie Epps here. Congratulations on redoing the joy of a golf course, and that's what I really always enjoyed, going up to the Piney Woods and playing Bruce Devlin's golf course. I mean, the piece of land that you guys, that the people gave him to make a golf course is just second to none. And now you got it redone, and is it a totally private, or can the public come and play?
It's semi-private. We actually do quite a few stay and play packages. We have 13 villas here that will take care of two people, two queen size beds. They originally actually were built by Temple Inland, which Arthur Temple was very instrumental in building this place. And he was doing business with guys from all over the country, flying them into the Angelina airport. And so in that, when I came in, Arthur had passed away. And with the club itself, the members were taking over running it. And we got those 13 villas and started doing stay and play packages. So we do, and it can be weekday or weekend, but we can do up to 32 players for a 3-day period. Well, you can do longer than that, but most people do a 3-day, 2-night package. and absolutely love it because it's kind of a country club away from home. You get to park your car here, have you a good time. The whole clubhouse is your party area. So the guys can come here, have fun, not worry about getting into trouble. And it works out really nicely. So to answer your question, we are semi-private. We have a nice membership, but the out-of-town play kind of works around that really well. I mean, we do groups that do 36 holes a day. So it's, if you're crazy enough to do that for 3 days, come on down.
Well, that's terrific. The website that people can go to, what is that? Where you can...
It's crown-colony.com. So it's like a hyphen in between the crown and the colony. Pretty easy to get to, and it's got all of the information for staying plays and contacting me. So yeah, absolutely.
Well,
once again, Ben Burns, the director of golf at Crown Colony, joins us here on ESPN 97.5 Houston. Ben, the two architects that restored Crown Colony, Trey Kemp and John Colligan, they've done great work at other courses like Brackenridge Park in San Antonio and Texas Rangers in Arlington, where they'll host the Veritex Bank Championship here in a couple weeks. They obviously did a great job with Crown Colony, but what was your overall experience with them between April and November of 24? And what are some of the things you wanted to see them accomplish?
You know what? We as membership, people working there, we were trying to maintain the character of Crown Colony. It sounds crazy, but I go all over the country, and people, when they see my Crown Colony logo, automatically talk about it. We were number one in the state for a lot of years. I was at Pebble Beach. This is the craziest story ever. Playing with a buddy of mine who was playing in the Club Pro Championship. I caddied for him, and I'm on the driving range hitting balls, and this guy from behind me goes, "Hey, aren't you the director of golf at Crown Colony?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "My favorite course in the world." And I'm kind of looking at him going, "Dude, we're standing at Pebble Beach."
That's a great story.
And he goes, "I don't care." He goes, "I got one of your hats back in my hotel room right now. We come down there every year and play the stay and play package." So, it's just a phenomenal piece of property. And in doing that, we wanted to maintain the character. We weren't trying to totally change it. It's I would say today's standards, it's unusual because it is only 6,600 yards, and everybody can't. The big hitters come in here and think, "I'm going to come tear that place up." And we always tell them, "Hey, go ahead, have you some fun, but let me know how you do when you come in." They always come in. They go, "Holy smokes, this is the hardest short course I've ever played." But the fascinating thing is, you would think you're going to lose a million balls, and you don't. It's just got really nice character. The greens are relatively small, but it's just fun to play. I was concerned coming in originally when I got here that we were going to have issues with slow play, but we really don't. It moves along very nicely, and people love it. I've got guys that have been coming back here for 20 years.
Bruce Devlin and Von Hagge made a great team, and they made a lot of good courses worldwide. I played one of their golf courses in Buenos Aires, Argentina. They built a great golf course down there. And then last year, I believe, where they played the Olympics in Paris, they played a Von Hagge, Bruce Devlin golf course.
Yeah, Le National.
Yeah, Le National. So that's great. It sounds like you're having a good time up there.
Yes, sir.
How's the food?
It's awesome.
What's the specialty of the house?
You know what? They've got a little bit of everything, and I'm more of a basic eater. So they've got this ABC Crunch Wrap right now that is just phenomenal. But they do everything from steaks to, shrimp, whatever you want. We've got a really nice crew that does great food.
Yeah, well, that's really great. Do you still have the Devlin Cup?
No, sir, but we still do the Temple Cup.
Oh, the Temple
Um,
Cup. Okay.
yes, sir, and it's now a senior event. So for since the place opened, almost we've had some kind of Temple Cup. It's a 2-person competition. If you're 55 and above and would like to bring a partner, it is straight up golf. There's no handicap. So if you're interested in playing, we're getting pretty full, but it's coming up in May. And if you're one of those guys that likes to compete and got a partner, bring them on.
Well, they can just go to the website and get the information.
Yes, sir. That's correct. It will be there.
Yeah, and Ben, we really appreciate you taking some time this morning. We're out of time in this break, but we really appreciate it. Charlie and I are going to come out and see you here in the next couple weeks, and
Love that.
and congratulations on all the success. This is really a world-class golf course, and
Thank you.
and this redesigned by Trey Kemp and John Colligan. You can really just, I mean, as you just said, greens are in great shape. The turf conditions in the fairway are just A plus. So congratulations, Ben. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ben.
for having me on.
We'll
You
be
bet.
up there to have some fun with you. And remember, I'm 80 years old, so I want the front tee. You can't make a course short enough for my action. So
we got family tea. Bring it on.
We'll
okay.
put Charlie off the dogwoods, Ben.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ben.
And for those still looking for a tee time, this weekend, it's Easter weekend. Get out to the golf course with the family, head up 59 North and get off the Champions Drive and get an 18 at Crown Colony. Just an excellent design, as you just heard from their director of golf, Ben Burns. We're going to take a quick break. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour presented by Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Back after this.
Back and through, and he's made it! He's done it! It's a grand slam roar at Augusta National. Rory McIlroy on his knees, bent down in emotion, clutching his head. He's won the Masters. He's won all the Grand Slam events. He's the sixth in the history of the game to enter golf's greatest group.
The Charlie Epps Golf Hour, powered by Insperity, continues
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Will Doctor and Charlie Epps.
That was the Sirius XM call from the great Mike Tirico. Last week, Rory McIlroy became the sixth golfer in history to complete the career Grand Slam, and McIlroy snapped an 11-year major championship drought, winning his first green jacket at the 89th Masters. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Tiger Woods, and now Rory McIlroy stand alone as the only players to win all four majors in a career. What a Sunday there, Charlie.
How many has Nicklaus won?
Nicklaus won 3 Grand Slams.
3 Grand
How
Slams.
about that? Did it 3 times. And, I had to look back, Charlie. Gary Player completed his first Grand Slam at the 65 Open Championship.
Right.
I didn't know Gary completed his first and only before Nicklaus got to his first there at the 66 U.S. Open. Anyways, my point to that is, before Rory here last week, we hadn't seen someone complete a Grand Slam since 2000 with Tiger. And before that, it had been in the 60s. The late 70s when Jack completed his third. Do you have memories that 78 Masters when Jack completed his third?
Well, 78 Masters was one of the classics, and he was fighting Johnny Miller and Tom Weiskopf. And the famous, line by Tom Weiskopf, Jim Nance asked, Tom, what do you think Nicklaus is thinking right now as he approaches his shot in the 16 at Augusta? And Tom said, if I knew what Jack Nicklaus thought, I'd have won this tournament. Weiskopf was an extremely talented golfer, but he never got to the talent that he had. He should have won much more. He a little hot-headed every now and then. He needed Bob Rotella.
Wow. That's who he needed. Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
Dr. Bob. Now in 78, before Nicklaus completed his third slam at the Masters, Jack had been struggling with his game just a little bit rolling into that Masters.
Yeah, he'd been on a downer, and his father had passed away, and so on and so forth. But he got it back. He changed his haircut. He lost 20 pounds, and he started looking like the pretty boy of the PGA Tour. But he revived his game.
And with Tiger in 2000, they're at the Open at St. Andrews when he completed his first slam. Were you there for that Open? No,
I was not there.
Okay, but that was, it had been almost 22 years since anyone had seen anything like that. But
yeah.
Could you feel that coming with Tiger?
Sure. He caught us all by surprise. We in Houston got to see him a little more because he played in the amateur, and he started working with Butch out at Lochinvar, and his reputation preceded him, and because he had won 3 U.S. juniors, he won 3 U.S. amateurs. There's nobody that's ever done that and won't do it again. And then he gets becomes a PGA Tour player and has a hole-in-one in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And he says, here I am. I'm
Hello, world.
ready to go. And then he puts that exhibition on. He shoots 40, the front 9, and everybody said, "Oh, the course has got him," and he shoots 30 on the back nine. So and he won. It was quite an exhibition.
Lapped the field there at St.
Yeah,
Andrews.
yeah.
Last week, McIlroy, as aforementioned, it was a little bit of a different style of golf that we've seen compared to other winners at the Masters tournament. Really, because of the fact that McIlroy made 4 double bogeys or worse. There were big numbers flying all over the place for McIlroy on Thursday and Sunday. He played absolutely flawless golf on Friday and Saturday, a pair of 66s to get himself back in the tournament. I thought after the way the first round ended with those couple doubles after he was 3 under through 13, to turn around, shoot a couple 66s on Friday and Saturday was just a great way for him to get back in the tournament.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible what he did. And on Saturday, you really weren't expecting what he did. And he got started off with 6 threes in a row.
Yeah. Never happened before.
Man, oh man, that's just absolutely incredible. But he set the stage, and everybody took a step back and said, "Well, he's got a chance. He's going to get the green jacket and get that monkey off his back." And boy, what an exhibition he put on! And everybody said, "Well, it's not that the double bogeys, it's all the birdies and eagles."
Yeah, it was the bounce backs for me, Charlie, that really changed everything. I mean, opened with a double, made birdies on 3 and 4, unforced error with the wedge shot on 13, made birdies on 15 and 17. The resiliency from McIlroy was just put on full display. And here was Rory after his final round on the weight of winning that green jacket.
I'd like to start this press conference with a question myself. What are we all going to talk about next year? It's a dream come true. I've dreamt about that moment for as long as I can remember. I mentioned it out in the prize ceremony, but watching Tiger here in 1997 do what he did and winning his first green jacket, I think that inspired so many of my generation to want to emulate what he did. And there were points in my career where I didn't know if I would have this nice garment over my shoulders, but I didn't make it easy today. I certainly didn't make it easy. I was nervous. It was one of the toughest days I've ever had on the golf course. In a funny way, I feel like the double bogey at the first sort of settled my nerves. And it's funny, walking to the second tee, the first thing that popped into my head was John Rahm a couple of years ago making double and going on to win. So, at least my mind was in the right place and was at least thinking positively about it. But just a complete roller coaster of a day. It was very tricky out there. It almost felt more like a US Open than a Masters at some points, just with how firm and fast the greens got. But just really proud of how I bounced back from from the double on 1, from the double on 13. I don't know if any Masters champions had 4 doubles during the week, but maybe I'm the first. But yeah, just a complete roller coaster of emotions today, and honestly, what came out of me on the last green there in the playoff was, at least 11 years, if not 14 years of pent up emotion. Since 2011, I think it's so ironic as well. I got to my locker this morning and I opened it up, and there was a note in there from Angel Cabrera, and just wishing me luck. And Angel Cabrera was the player I played with in the final day in 2011. So it was a nice touch and a little bit ironic at the same time. And it's been 14 long years, but thankfully I got the job done.
People forget how much of an inspiration your guy Angel Cabrera is to everyone, and how much everyone really loves him inside the ropes.
Yeah, that was quite a note. To have, you never know how that affected Rory but it really did. And Angel was a champion, and he accomplished a lot, and he's returned to the field, and he's overcome some really bad stuff, and that to me, that's the sign of a champion. Four double bogeys is nothing compared to what Angel has experienced, and he came back and he won a Champions Tour event, and it's such a great story. And what can we say? You can't say anything else about Rory, but he just got on his little plane and went and saw mom and dad.
Yep, landed in Belfast yesterday. No, that was a great audio bit, and I can't wait to see you and Cabrera on the range at the Insperity Invitational here in a couple weeks. And obviously, yeah, for Rory to become the sixth to complete the Grand Slam here in 2025, it's all time. It's something that, I know Phil's a U.S. Open away from the Grand Slam. Spieth is a PGA Championship away from the Grand Slam and playing very well at the moment. People sleeping on Spieth a little bit. Couple top 20s, tied 14th at the Masters, starting to find his game. But there is, there is still a chance that we might not see someone complete another Grand Slam for a very long time. When you look at the last one was 2000, and then you have to go back to the 70s. It is a very hard accomplishment. I mean, one of the hardest in sports, Charlie.
Well, but Rudy Tomjanovich, who was a Houston Rocket and then the coach, he has a line that he says, you can never not trust the heart of a lion, heart of a winner. And these guys are really have a lot of pride, and they dig down deep, and no pity parties. They get it done.
That's right. That's right. We got to take a quick break. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour. We'll be back with some audio from the RBC Heritage after this. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour presented by Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Back after this.
This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
Now from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
Charlie, we have business owners listening who really feel like the walls are closing in. And, I've gotten a couple calls here over the last, few weeks from some business owners. The obstacles to growing their business are really overwhelming. And I think you have a solution for them.
Well, you got to start with HR in today's world. It's small business, and our country is built on people that run their small businesses. And sometimes you got good products, but you need some help. And Insperity is a company that can help small business succeed. And so this year, if you want to get the bottom line going and you want some help, you want some other opinions on how to approach things in your business, well, Insperity and Paul Servati and his team of professionals are just waiting for the opportunity to show you how to grow your business like they grew theirs. They founded in 1986, and from 1986 until now, they've got over 4,000 employees and billions in dollars in revenue. So give Insperity a call, and I guarantee you'll be very, very happy you did.
And it's not only amazing what they're doing from an HR perspective and a corporate perspective, but what they're doing for the Houston community, through various organizations. This one in particular, the Insperity Invitational, is right around the corner. Will be played next weekend at the with 2 weekends from now at the Woodlands Country Club tournament course, just 30 miles north of downtown Houston. And of course, Insperity is the title sponsor of that tournament. And thanks to them and Wood Forest Bank and United Healthcare, it's free tickets every day, adults and juniors. And, if you have kids or you're a junior golfer listening, I'd highly recommend getting out to the junior day, the clinic, and the pro-am. Charlie, I mean, how much I feel sometimes that you can actually learn a lot more from the PGA Tour champions guys than the current players on the PGA Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour. I love hearing the stories. Someone like Padraig Harrington, Lee Trevino, John Daly, these clinics that they do at the Insperity Invitational are really worth getting out for.
Oh yeah, you'll get some great ideas about your golf game and about how to approach it, and and then you'll see how much fun the greats of golf have on Saturday afternoon when they put together their team of great golfers and they play 18-hole scrambles. So get out there, join us, and remember the entry fee is zero for you great spectators that want to have a good time. So come out and see us.
Another big deal that Insperity is involved in, and it happened this week on Tuesday, is the Champions Dinner at Lakeside Country Club. It was the second annual dinner, and the top junior golfers in Houston are awarded. Charlie's grandson, Charlie Wiley, was the male junior golfer of the year in Houston, and he's now making waves at TCU and was the student athlete player of the month a couple months ago, and starting every tournament, playing extremely well. This year, it was Caleb Lumpkin, who is committed to Sam Houston State, and Sophia Elstad, who is committed to Oklahoma State. Two phenomenal Houston junior golfers. Charlie, you're obviously a big part of that dinner. It's great to see Insperity involved. They're on Tuesday at Lakeside.
Well, it was wonderful evening. Pete DeLongchamp and Joe Pogge put together a group of 90 people came and donated to the cause for the kids that really need a sandwich for lunch, and so we raised a lot of money for the kids of Houston, and it's going to turn out to be a very important dinner every year. So I was proud to be there.
Yeah, Don Faust from Faust Distributing, John Sorrentino from Insperity, a great Ali Jarrett from the Texas Golf Hall of Fame. This is a great board that the Houston Champions Dinner has put together, not only benefiting kids' meals, but also honoring the best junior golfers in the city of Houston. Let's get to some updates for the RBC Heritage Justin Thomas is the 36-hole leader for the 14th time in his career. He is 6 for 13 in his career as far as converting halfway point leads to wins. He's got 15 PGA Tour wins. That's the most in the field this week. And we've been waiting here a couple years since the 22 PGA to see JT get his 16th. This is a great place for it there at the RBC Heritage at Harbortown Golf Links. He likes those tree-lined golf courses. JT talked about that after round two.
I do. I mean, I don't think I've necessarily had as much success here as, I mean, if you want to call them birdie fests or whatever it may be, but I still viewed this place that it can be like that. Like I understand yesterday is a bit of a one-off, but I mean, I truly do feel like every time I tee it up at a place like this or like Colonial, like I can, when I played it, I mean, I can make a bunch of birdies. Sawgrass, I feel the same way. If you get it in play, you can make so many birdies. It's just if you get it out of position off the tee, it's extremely difficult. And this place is even more so than those other spots. So I just think it's you have a lot of shots. You're not just grabbing a club off the tee and just hitting it. It requires way more thought and precision than that, I'd say.
You have a number of great chasers going into the weekend. Siwoo Kim and Russell Henley are in a tie for second at 10 under. Andrew Novak and Tommy Fleetwood are in a tie for fourth at 9 under. Andrew Novak, he's the son-in-law of the great Davis Love III. He's been putting himself in positions left and right. Fourth in San Antonio a couple weeks ago. I think Andrew Novak's an excellent chaser. Obviously, the name on everyone's mind sitting four back is Scotty Scheffler. At 8 under par, world number one is looking to become the first back-to-back winner of the RBC Heritage since Boo Weekley in 2008. We'll see Boo next week at the Insperity Invitational. Scheffler opened 64-70 on Thursday and Friday at Harbortown. Here were his thoughts post-round two.
I thought the golf course was tougher today. I felt like, the fairways I hit it in, the pins were hard to get to, and then the fairways that I missed, it was kind of the gettable pins is what I felt like at times out there. The back nine, I felt like it was hard to get it close to some of those pins, and then like an important hole to hit the fairway, 15, the reachable par 5, I missed the fairway there. Gettable pin on 11, missed the fairway there, and then when I'm in position on 13, hard pin to get to, 16 in position, can't really get it to that pin today. So just little stuff like that where it's almost like I didn't time my good shots at the right moments, and I ended up with 1 under. But overall, I feel like my game's in a good spot. I think I maybe only had one 36-hole lead this year. Is that right? So it's not like I'm, leading every tournament. I feel like I've been in this position where I'm a touch on the outside looking in a lot. And so, 2 more solid days and I'll be right in it.
Charlie, can Scheffler get his first this weekend, or does Justin Thomas, an established winner, 15 PGA Tour wins, most in the field? Any closing thoughts as far as the RBC Heritage of Harbortown?
Well, so far this year, Scotty has not really been able to close the deal. He is, to me, what he showed us last year, what he's doing this year is just a little sloppy golf. And I don't quite understand it because he's such a great kid and I expect so much of him. But JT is, he's coming out of a long slump. Last time he won a tournament, I think he shot 59 in Hawaii. So I hope he wins.
Yeah, no, great stuff. JT looking for his first win since the 22 PGA, but did shoot a 59 in Hawaii, almost at the course record on Thursday at Harbortown with a 61 was one off the course record. So, great stuff there, Charlie. We're out of time today. I thank you, John Belmer, behind the ones and twos. Always does a A+ job. We'll see you next weekend at the midway point of a couple of golf tournaments, the Chevron Championship, the Veritex Bank Championship. You've got the Zurich Classic next week, the 2-ball. Charlie finished tied second in that alongside Blaine McAllister many years ago. Anyways, we'll see you next Saturday. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour, providing Insperity HR that makes a difference.